So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video where today we're gonna take a quick look at the Incarnon infused Dread. So first things first, you get the Incarnon adapter for the Dread from the Steelpath version of the Circuit game mode. Once you have the adapter, and the Dread of course, you can take them over to Cavallero in the Chrysalith to combine them, but this will take some additional resources. You will need 20 Pathos Clamp, which you get from the Aura Worm boss fight, 60 Rune Marrow, which you can find in the Undercroft, as well as 60 Tasoma Extract, which is sort of a mushroom that grows in caves in the Paradox. This will buff the weapon and unlock its Incarnon mode. You build the Incarnon meter by headshotting enemies, and once you have any level of charge, you can press the secondary fire button to activate it. In this mode, the Dread fires a massive white bolt that does heat damage and infinitely punches through enemies, not terrain though, and it has better stats, so it does more damage with better crit damage and better status chance. Now you can also choose a bunch of different buffs for the Dread as you evolve it, but before you can do that, you're gonna have to do a few things with it. So firstly, you're gonna have to do a solo mission with the Dread, then you're gonna have to kill 100 enemies with the Dread's Incarnon mode, and finally you're gonna have to kill 40 enemies that are at least 40 meters away from you. Now while this is doable in normal missions as well, some of them are actually big enough, it's much better if you do it in one of the open worlds. The evolution choices are actually pretty cool. The first one has you choose between Hitman's Opportunity for some flat damage and then increased damage if the enemy has less than 50% health, and Coup de Grace, which once again gives you some flat damage but then gives you stacking damage and fire rate, which stacks up to 5 times, but it resets when you miss a shot. The second option is between Swift Deliverance for projectile speed, Marksman's Focus for negative zoom, and Hitman's Horde, which doubles your ammo maximum. And finally you have a choice between Survivor's Edge for crit and status chance, Elemental Balance for a lot more status chance but no crit, and Zeroed In, which takes the weapon's base 200% crit multiplier and boosts it up to 300%. Personally, I went for a combination of Hitman's Opportunity because I do miss every now and then, so the stacking one wasn't as good, Swift Deliverance because projectile speed on bows feels nice, and finally Zeroed In for the crit damage. The build I ended up liking the most runs Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Hunter Munitions for slash procs on crit, Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds for vital, Vile Acceleration for a ton of fire rate, Galvanized Aptitude for status and a bit of extra damage, and then Vital Sense and Critical Delay for crit. Now if you're a headshot freak, you can run Galvanized Scope and get crit through headshots, but I ended up not doing that because of the Incarnon mode. Because, as I've mentioned already, the shots have infinite enemy punch through but won't punch through terrain, so when it comes to the Incarnon mode, I actually tend to follow the terrain with the shots rather than aim for specific body parts on the enemies. This way you gotta get the most bang for your buck out of the Incarnon mode, because if the first enemy you're trying to headshot is, let's just say, Heavy Gunner, which are very tall, the shot's just gonna fly into the ceiling after that and you're not really gonna hit anything. And if the enemy is really short or hangs their head really low like a charger, the shot's just gonna hit the ground. So I really don't think Argon or Galvanized Scope are all that great here. Now when it comes to the damage, it's actually quite hilarious, especially when you have a big group of enemies with the Incarnon mode, because it will just rip and tear through everything. The thing I really like about the Incarnon mode here is the added heat damage, so you're not relying solely on Hunter Munitions for damage over time, but you're also getting some nice heat procs in there. This is an absolutely magnificent upgrade for the Dread. The damage is fantastic, the Incarnon mode looks fabulous, and it's fun as hell to use. If you're a fan of bows, I would highly recommend you pick this up, and even if you're not a fan of bows, I would still recommend you try it, because this is one of the few bows that might win you over. I'm so happy to see an OG weapon like this revitalized in such a fantastically fun way. So yeah, if you see the Incarnon Genesis adapter for the Dread, definitely pick it up, you won't regret it. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you'd like to support the channel, you can check out the memberships down below, pluggo, etc. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.